Morning, we are going to move into Cockburn Harbor. We're expected over the next couple days for the winds to pick up to 20 to 25 knots. They say this anchorage is good, but we just want to have a little more land in front of us when that happens. So we've got about 10 nautical miles to go, but we have to kind of go through this reef, which will be a little nail biting. So first things first, we're going to pull up the anchor and we're going to go from there.
I'm going to bring up this number first.
Roger, it's all yours.
Okay, bringing up the anchor. A little bit of forward momentum to starboard, please.
We're going to go out, and then we are going to make a turn to starboard, line up on a point, and then we have to navigate out through some rocks and coral heads to get to our passage out here, and over to Cockburn Harbor, which is about 5 nautical miles.
Saying goodbye to 6 hills. Okay, this is a great anchorage. And now we just need to find our way through there. A mile and we'll be out of here. But you can see we've got a big reef here, and then this reef right in the middle, just to like add a little excitement. So you can just kind of see the reef over Kevin's shoulder over there, that green patch where everything's breaking. Yeah.
We're not out yet.
What? We are out.
There's a reef we're not even past on this port side. Just want it on video that if we're not good,
Carla's called first and last reef. It's actually called the first and last reef.
Yes, I saw that on the charts. Like, I like that name. Yeah, can you imagine a 5 nautical mile run and be this smart, you know? 100 feet. Wow, we're back in 100 feet of water, and now no bottom. It just went straight off the cliff. Looking good?
Yeah, I guess.
What would you like me to do, Mrs. Nash?
Be much happier when it's over.
How are the kitties? They both good up there?
Yeah. We are at the entrance to Cockburn Harbor. This is the very tip of Long Cay, and finally the seas have calmed down a bit and our anchorage is straight ahead of us. Beautiful little spot.
It was quite the beat into Cockburn Harbor. Had about 15 to 20 knots of wind, 5-foot swells, and because it was such a short run, we didn't put our mainsail up. It was a mistake. We should have. We would have stabilized it. But again, live and learn. Now we're cruising into the shelter here, and we're going to go up here and anchor in about, I don't know, 8 feet of water, 9 feet of water, something like that. Right now, I'm a happy camper because, whoo, baby, was it rough on the outside of these caves. On videos.
These are really cute little town. That is the barge wreck right there. So when the barge wreck is at our beam, it's pretty much we should turn to the wind. I'm gonna go get ready.
Yeah.
Okay, and dropping.
We have Wi-Fi. Kevin is
answering questions from the family.
so many questions.
Allie, for my daughter.
Well, we're glad we're here. It's actually calmer here than it was at 6 Hills.
Oh yeah, the water's calmer.
Yeah.
It's windy.
There's
There are no hills.
a little bit of roll, but yeah, it's a little windy, but it's actually really nice. As they said, it doesn't have a really sandy bottom, so we'll see how our anchor holds. We're going to monitor it through the afternoon, and fingers crossed, we're dug in.
So we anchored in here yesterday in Cockburn Harbor. Spent the night. It was actually a pretty restful night last night. We dove the anchor before we went to bed, before sunset, and didn't like the way the anchor looked, but the chain, we had a lot of chain out, so that was holding as well. We thought we'd see if the anchor would dig in a bit in the winds. It did not. I just dove it again, and it's not a good holding anchor, so we are going to pull up the hook. Oh, and I forgot to mention there is a 6-cylinder engine block that somebody's dropped here that our chain is right next to as well. So I think they probably used it for a mooring ball in the past, but anyway, we have great experience with getting hung up on an engine block in the past, so we're a little leery of that. So we're going to pull the hook here and move a bit farther to the south. We moved the boat from over there to over there for the anchor, and I'm going to go check it. And that's what a well-set anchor should look like. Man, it's hard swimming out here, especially when you're losing your shorts.
So this morning we have had a breakfast, and Kevin is just blowing up our inflatable with the hole in it, and we are going to go check out Cockburn Harbor. There he is, master and commander, filling up the dinghy. Gargoyles to be secure, and yeah, we're gonna go check out the sights.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Cockburn Harbor is the largest settlement in South Caicos, and it is known for having the best natural harbor in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Once a booming settlement due to salt production, it now has a small population of 1,000 permanent residents, relying on the conch, lobster, and fish, which are caught and processed for international markets. As you walk through the town, many of the older buildings reflect the British colonial heritage with the Bermudian architecture and cut limestone block construction. Throughout the town, you can definitely see the devastation Hurricane Ike left in 2008. And with COVID impacting tourism, this is definitely a quiet little town. Quick conversation with the owner of this building, and he informed us his grandmother once lived here and operated a thriving store. She would receive weekly shipments from the US from Neiman Marcus, Macy's, and even Saks on Fifth Avenue to stock the shelves, which still remain in the structure. We have officially walked through most of this little town.
Cockburn Harbor. We've exhausted it.
Yeah.
We got the Reverend.
Nothing's open, and these masks are really hot. So I guess since nothing's open, we are gonna stop at the little grocery store and buy some veggies.
No, we're not. Veggies?
Oh, yeah.
Is
We're
that
buying
another word for
veggies.
Pringles?
Yeah, we're buying veggies. And we're gonna head back to Gargoyle. Maybe do a little more research on how we might be able to see a little bit more of this island.
So we came back to the boat and we've done some research, and it turns out we have done everything you can do on South Caicos. We checked around the Sail Rock Resort, which would be an option for us to get a day pass for. No luck. Good for them. They are sold out, so we can't get in there. Weather's just too rough, too windy for us to get over to do some snorkeling at the aquarium. So that's going to be out. So now we just wait out the wind and then we can take off.
So last night we had a super bumpy sleep, and it looks like we are going to be here for another 2 or 3 days while the winds calm down. So we've decided to deploy our stern anchor so we can just bring Gargoyle's nose into the swell. Because right now we've got probably a 1 to 2 foot swell, and we are rocking like crazy. Dean's got his sailor sway on right now. So we're just going to move her over a bit so that we're not doing this so much, since we're going to have to be here just a little bit longer. We have our rods and our stern anchor good to go. Kevin is pumping up our dinghy. I'm going to hand him the anchor and then we're going to get it set. There it goes. Captain's back, dinghy's back, and our stern anchor is deployed. Looks like we are taking the swell pretty much straight on the nose. So we'll monitor it for today and hopefully we're all right. So it is about 9 o'clock, and in true fashion the wind has picked up. It's always a little nerve-wracking when you have 2 anchors out, because if something goes wrong you're having to deal with 2, and one of course is at the stern of the boat. But we'll see how Gargoyle holds overnight. We've got a couple more days of this wind and then hopefully we can escape. But the good news is the captain looks very relaxed. He's chilling, curled up in bed. So here's hoping that we have a peaceful night. Been in South Caicos for a week. The original forecast said we would be here for a couple of days. Well, these winds came in and then there'd be a little bit of a lull and we could escape. And yeah, well, they updated the forecast. And so we've been here ever since. And hopefully Friday, the winds will move around.
What is today? Today Wednesday?
Today's Wednesday, yeah. So today's supposed to be the worst day. Actually, last night was like the worst night, I think, wasn't it?
Oh no, I slept through it. So I don't know.
Typically what we're seeing is somewhere between 15 and 20 knots consistently, with gusts up to 20, sometimes 30 knots. And we kind of just watch Gargoyle from the side. We've got about a 1 to 2 foot swell just kind of rolling through the anchorage, and that's why we've got our stern anchor out to keep Gargoyle's nose into the waves.
It is nicely protected because it is 9 foot swells outside the anchorage, so we can't complain too much. That's why we're pinned down in here, is because we can't leave.
So we're stuck, and you just look at it and you look over there and go, hey, how come you can't go that way? And it's because beside us,
it's 4 feet.
up along Long Cay, which is this big island right here, there's literally 2 to 3 feet. We were hoping to come in here for at least a couple of days and then go over to Long Cay and explore, but these winds have just been crazy. This is what we're looking at right now, and if you look down here, we're kind of in the 20 knots with gusts up to 27. Finally tomorrow we start to ease off, and then Friday is when we plan our escape. Saturday is just a perfect day where you think, wow, it should be like this in the Caribbean all the time, and then this happens on Sunday. So we are going to plan to be tucked in to a marina, because the Turks and Caicos doesn't really have a lot of great anchorages for this northeaster wind that's going to be blowing through. Another day here, and then we're going to head back up into and behind Provo to get some protection from this wind.